357 mag versus 44 mag in our Underwood ammunition, and this happens to be their solid copper hollow points. This is new to Underwood here. Buffalo Bore has used stuff like this in the past, but these are the Barnes TAC-XP and XPB bullets. They're pretty much the same thing. XPB, expanding pistol bullet, and TAC-XP, which is tactical expanding pistol, something like that. So our 357 Magnum is a 125 grain rated at 1650 feet per second. Our 44 Magnum is a 225 grain rated at 1500 feet per second. Now, I've been really wanting to test this stuff because I actually like the way that Underwood loads some of their revolver cartridges. You know, stuff like Buffalo Bore is oftentimes a little bit too hot, the way it's loaded. And with Underwood, generally, I never get rated velocity with the revolver cartridges, but at the same time, the revolver cartridges are pretty much in line with everything else that's out there, like Winchester Federal, stuff like that, maybe a little bit better than that. So I kind of like the way that Underwood loads this stuff. So solid copper bullets, 125 grain 357 mag versus 225 grain 44 mag. So interesting choices for self-defense if somebody wanted to carry something like that, because I can't think, you know, what that bullet would be used for other than self-defense. I guess you could hunt with it, but anyways, let's go to the current graph, see what kind of velocity and accuracy we get at the same time. Then I'm going to hit my 10% clear ballistic gel block here. We're going to do a test of plain clear ballistics, right in the plain clear ballistics with both of these to see what the best potential is of these cartridges, see what kind of expansion and penetration we got and all of that. And after that, I'm going to do more of a real world simulation where I'm going to have 4 layers. I got 4 layers of sweatshirt today. I'm going to put on the front of this gel block. And after 3 inches of clear ballistics to represent our pectoral muscle, I'm going to have a 1/4 inch medium density fiberboard to represent hitting ribs or sternum. That's going to be more of our quote-unquote real world simulation. And after that, I'm going to shoot at my steel silhouette to see what kind of practical accuracy I can get. So let's get started with this test. All right, I'm about 5 yards from the target, 4 yards from the chronograph. First up, we have our 357 mag, 125 grain rated at 1650 feet per second. Let's see what we actually get in my 4-inch barrel Smith & Wesson 686, by the way. 4-inch barrel Smith & Wesson 686. 4 1/4 inch Smith & Wesson Model 69. It's actually 4 1/8 inch, so almost the same barrel travel. So see how close we get to 1650. 1554. 1576. 1574. 1528. 1543. So even though it's below rated velocity, that's a lot higher than a lot of typical 357 Magnum rounds you get, and pretty typical recoil, maybe even a little less than some. So 44 mag, 225 grain rated at 1500 feet per second. Let's see what we actually get. Ooh, I pulled that one anticipating that recoil. Let me go single action so I don't anticipate that. I have to squeeze kind of extra hard when I think there's going to be recoil, and that pulls my shot. So let me keep trying here. 1346. 1340. 1358. 1292. Let me run one more. I would have took those 4, but that last one was so low, I don't want my average to be really skewed lower than what it needs to be. One more. 1343. So except for that one, pretty consistent, and the 357 was relatively consistent as well. So let's hit our ballistics gel block and see what we get with these. All right, first up, let's go for our best potential shot here. No denim or NDF or anything like that. 357 mag. Let's see what this does. All right, let's hit it with our 44 now. All right, 44 mag. Let's see what this does. Let's go take a look. All right, so there's some significant differences there. But the 357 did come down and rest down here at the bottom of that gel block, touching the base of this shelf here. But that's about as far as it's going to go. I can definitely tell that just by looking at that. So we got full expansion, of course. We're at 18 inches. We're pretty much at a textbook level there. Our 44 Magnum, huge damage, just not even similar. And what we got is a penetration of 22.5 inches. By numbers, that's a little bit too much penetration. That being said, clear ballistics is less dense than organic gel. You're going to get more penetration in clear ballistics. So I would not consider that significantly over penetrating, just a little bit. So let's put on our fabric and our MDF and see how they compare that way. All right, we have 4 layers of a sweatshirt here, 3 inches of clear ballistics, 1/4 inch MDF, 357 mag. Let's see what this does. Let's try our 44 now. All right, 44 mag. Fabric and MDF. Let's see what this does. Let's take a look. All right, if you might have noticed, I'm incorporating my Magnum bar. That's kind of what I call it, my Magnum bar here. Keeps that gel block from flying all over the place. So we have some differences here. And here's our MDF here. On the bottom is our 357, the top is our 44. We can clearly see that right here, before it hits this thing is expanding. Huge, both of them. Huge expansion. And then after that, it still is penetrating significantly deep. With our 357 mag, looks like some of the expansion's different on one side versus the other, but what we're looking at is about 17 3/4. Only a 1/4 inch difference then with plain gel. Really good. Our 44, just like without that MDF, we have kind of the same thing going on. It does look like we have a piece of possibly petal up there. I'm not really sure. It could be MDF. But a whole lot of MDF going on in there where it's shattered. Just a massive, about an inch wide wound path going on there. Expansion, good expansion. 21 inches of penetration. I would not consider that really over penetration. I would consider that good penetration. So this is looking really good. This is kind of textbook where you're going to have a lot of good going on with the 357, the 44, a little bit more, potentially over penetration, but not a lot. This is looking really good. So let me shoot at my steel and see what kind of practical accuracy I can get with these. I'm going to do 25 and 75 yards. You know, when I think about guns like this, they're shooting Magnums with at least a 4-inch barrel. You probably have a bigger need for shooting something at distance with more power than the average person carrying like a 380 in their pocket. So when I think about distances, 7 yards to me is kind of close. So, you know, if you're carrying a Magnum, you might be concerned about bears and whatever. And also personal defense. So 25 yards to me seems more practical. So what I want to do is just see what kind of follow-up shots I can get. See if it's difficult to get follow-up shots with both of these. So 357 mag, I'll try to get them on target as fast as I think I can land them. And that'll be how I'm going to do this. So 357. All right, so I was pulling those to the left. I could see my my sight move a little bit to the left when I was firing those a little bit too quick. I kind of knew that was going to happen. I should have waited a brief moment more, but I just kept firing. So let's see what I can do with our 44. Try to keep that in mind. This is going to be a lot slower, but I'm going to see what I can do. All right, those things hit really, really hard. Now I'm going to back up to 75 yards and see if I can make some hits. All right, 75 yards from the target. Let's just see how these things shoot for me. 357 mag. Let me make a hit in center mass. Case ejection with the 357 is great. But I did miss that first shot. I'm not sure where that hit. Keep trying. those are not particularly accurate for me for some reason. When I started making hits, I actually started aiming at the head on that silhouette, so they're dropping not far low for me anyways. So 44 mag, see what I can do with this. Case ejection with these is not so good. Very sticky, but that's pretty typical for this revolver. Let me try to hit some more on target here. Alright, so for me at that distance, the 44 did a lot better. That was weird because my 686 is my best shooting handgun that I own. It shoots better than any other firearm. If you've seen some of my older videos, I oftentimes chronographing, not today, but one hole for our chronographing group. But that ammo was just shooting kind of all over the place for me, which is kind of weird. Because if it was just me, then I should have doubly missed with the 44 mag, anticipating that recoil, but I didn't have a problem with that. So overall, what I'm seeing is pretty good here. You know, the 44 seemed to shoot pretty good in more of our real world testing. Not so much at the target, because, you know, I anticipate recoil more against there, because a miss there is adding $120 to my budget when I destroy a chronograph. So sometimes I'm like trying to get it so I'm not flinching, but then I do. But when I shoot at the steel, it's not as big a deal. It's just like I throw them. If I miss, who cares? And what I'm seeing here is practical shootability here is our 44 does pretty well. And it is kind of weird that at 25 yards even, that I was missing with that 357 mag. That is really weird. I don't want to just be like, oh, I'm great and everything. But that is weird for me to miss at 25 yards a couple of shots. I'm just aiming pretty well centered, but the 44 seems to do better. But ballistically speaking, terminal ballistics, both of these did really well. Our 357 mag did pretty much perfect without over penetration, and we had enough deep penetration that you wouldn't have to like question it. Is that really enough? You know, because we were consistently hitting, you know, 17 3/4 and 18 inches, I believe it was. Perfect, the max you want to go. Our 44 mag, yeah, over penetrated, but at the same time, realistically, you know, hitting a bystander behind somebody that you had to shoot would be unlikely. And people are bigger now than gel blocks as far as how it equates. So even if it passed through somebody, I highly doubt that there would be much velocity on the other side of that to do a lot of damage to somebody behind that. So what I'm seeing from this is it's all pretty good, but I'm going to say the 44 mag here is loaded better for, at least for my 4-inch revolvers. So that's what you get today with our Underwood, with our TAC-XP and XPB, hard to say, bullets. So as always, comment, share, and like, and thanks for watching.